Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leigh Fuge, and in this video today we're going to talk about how to play the guitar in the style of blues legend b.b.king. So in the guitar world, b.b.king is a bit of a legend. He's inspired pretty much every single guitar player out there, and even if you are not directly influenced by b.b.'s playing, you probably listen to someone who is influenced by him. He's primarily a blues player, but he's known for his almost jazz-like note choices, his really super smooth phrasing, and his very vocal vibrato style. So in this lesson, we're going to break down some of the key things that he does with the guitar. All the licks from this lesson are also tabbed out, and there is a backing track that I'm going to be playing over with each of the examples that you hear, as well as a little jam at the end of the video. If you want to access the tabs and the backing track, scroll down to the description right now, hit the link in my bio for my guitar course, Write Notes Music Tuition, sign up for a free account on there, and you will find inside the members area access to the backing track and the tabs for this lesson. So guitar-wise, I'm using my Epiphone Lucille. This is a b.b.king signature model, so there's obviously no better guitar for this job, and I'm plugged straight into my Line 6 Helix. So all of the examples I play in this video are going to be in the key of B. So we're going to be crossing between B major and B minor, which is a very big component of b.b.king's style, but all of these ideas are transposable to any key you want. So the backing track you're going to hear is a b.b.king style 12-bar blues. It uses a B7 chord as the root, an E7 as the 4. We've also got the F#7 as the 5. But one thing that b.b. does is he also adds a sharp 5 or a flat 6 chord, whichever way you want to visualize that, which in this case is a G7. So it's like a 12-bar blues with a bit of a twist. So as I said, we're going to be moving between major and minor a lot for this. The dominant 7 chord progression really helps with that. Even though dominant 7 chords are technically major substitutions because they've got a major 3rd in there, they actually function as minor chords as well because they've got a flat 7. So again, if you don't know much about that kind of stuff, you can learn that on my guitar course, which is linked down below. The scales we're going to be using in this video are going to be the B minor pentatonic, and the B major pentatonic. So in this lesson, we are going to be crossing freely between the major and minor pentatonics, so it's worth making sure you know both of them very well and how they overlay on top of each other. We're also going to be using something called the b.b. box or the b.b.king blues box, which is another major or minor crossover scale, which you can use in any key, but again, I'm playing this in the key of B. This is something that b.b. uses a lot when improvising. So I'm playing this in the key of B, so I'm going to be playing this, starting here at the 13th fret of the G. On the B string, I'm going to be playing 12, 14, and 15, and 12, 14, and 16 on the E. This sort of sits in the 3rd shape of both major and minor crossed on top of each other with a little dip into the 4th shape as well. It's a very useful b.b.king style box, and if you sort of stay within the realms of that, you can always pull out some really cool sounding b.b.king licks. So one of the licks is going to be using that exclusively as well. Vibrato is also a very big part of the b.b.king guitar style. When b.b. does vibrato, he will remove his thumb and his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers like so. So the only point of contact is the 1st finger and the sort of knuckle joint of the 1st finger as a pivot. He will do this motion very, very quickly. It's a very, very subtle vibrato. He's not getting huge movements there in the pitch. So when you do this yourself, keep it subtle and keep it fast. Try and keep it as close to that initial note as you can. So we've got 4 licks to get through, so let's dive right on in. Here is the first lick. Okay, so that lick is a great example of crossing major and minor pentatonics in the 1st position at the same time in one lick. It starts with this ascending 1st position major pentatonic lick. So that's on the 7 and 9 of the B and E strings. Then I'm bending the 9 of the E up a full step to the 11. and I'm landing on this 7 here, which is my B note, which is my root. So that resolves really nicely. The second bar is the same thing, but instead of doing the bend, I'm just doubling up on the root. The third bar is identical to the first bar. So up to that point, it's entirely in major, but now we're going to go into minor. So this lick here is on the B string, first position of the B minor pentatonic scale, with a pull off from the 10 to the 7. Hit the 9 on the G, and then the 7 twice on the B string. So we've got 3 bars of major pentatonic and 1 bar of minor. The second b.b.king lick we're going to look at is in the second shape of the major and minor pentatonics. So here's how the lick sounds. So we're just starting off with this lick by reinforcing the key by playing this B note. And then there's a little thing here that b.b.king does, which is a first finger bend. So I'm sort of in this box position that we'd associate with the second shape of the minor pentatonic. So I'm playing the 12, hitting that 10 and giving it a little quarter tone bend with the index finger. Then we go into the b.b.king major minor crossover thing. So this is minor, but this note here, the 11, is a major note. So we're going to be going back and forth now between minor and major. So that note there being the major one. Then we're doing a full step bend here on the 12. And then this little b.b.king flick at the end from the 10 of the E down to the 12 of the B. So for this third lick, we're now going into that BB box. So if you've forgotten what that is, it starts here at the 13 of the G. So whatever key you're playing in, you should always aim for the second note there. So in this case, the 12 of the B string to be the root note. So if I wanted to play this in A, I would have the A note here as my root. But I'm doing this in B, so I'm rooting here from the 13 with my B note, the root of the key, being on the 12. So this lick uses that box pattern, so here's the lick. So this is a very melodic b.b.king lick. It sort of has that real vocal quality. So this will really test your sort of ability to play those notes smoothly, but also capture that vibrato. So we're staying pretty much within that box shape. The first thing we're doing is sliding up to the 13. Then I'm playing the 12 on the B and coming back to the 13 before doing a double bend on the 14 of the B. So I'm going up, down, and up again in one motion. Then I'm doing the same starting point, but then I'm doing that little b.b.king flick again, but this time on the 14 of the E to the 12 of the B. BB does a lot of that sort of cross string thing there where you're going either down a fifth like that, or a minor third like this. Obviously in the second position, not the third. That would be a minor third in terms of intervals, but in this case we're doing it as a fifth. The third bar is just the same as the first bar again. And in the fourth bar, we're just extending out of the top of the BB box. So I'm coming up here to the 16 and the 14 on the E string, which is the top of the box. And I'm coming up to this 19 here. BB also has this little trick that he does, which appeared at the end of that lick. This is something that he does sort of sparingly throughout different solos, which is just hitting a high note and sliding it out. So in that case, I just ended on this 19. and slid that out. You may see this just in the middle of a guitar solo, so let's say you're just playing a standard lick like the first one. He may just hit that 19 2 or 3 times, slide it out. He would often rake into it as well, so I'm just muting the other strings here, but freeing up my little finger to play that high note. That's a really cool B.B. King technique that you can just put in whenever you want. There's no real rhyme or reason as to where he does that, it's just a cool little thing that he likes to put in. So now let's look at the 4th and final B.B. King style lick in the lesson. So this final lick is one of those jazzier B.B. King style moments. I'm actually starting in what looks like minor pentatonic, but I'm sliding this 10th fret of the E straight up to the 11. Then I've got this little descending arpeggio here, 7 on the E, 7 on the B, 9 on the G. So that is predominantly minor again there, so I'm going major, back to minor. Then I'm playing the 7 on the G, which is the minor third, hammering on to the 8th, which is the major third, and then going to the root here on the D string, which is the 9th of the D. Then just to end, play the 7th fret of the A string, slide it down to the 6, and go back to the root there on the 9th of the D. So the cool thing with this lick is the way the notes kind of flow. You can use slides or hammer-ons or pull-offs to join those little semitone things. So I could do a slide to start, then I could do a slide here, and again, or I could do hammer-ons, then a pull-off. I could even slide into that final note. There's a lot of creative license there to sort of put your own thing on the end of that lick. So that's a really fun one. Again, uses that first shape, what looks like a minor pentatonic, but brings in some of those major elements. The major notes there being the 11 on the E, the 8 on the G, and the 6 on the A. So there you go, guys. There are some B.B. King style licks, tricks, tips, techniques, whatever you want to call it. There's a couple of things there that you can take from B.B.'s playing style and put into your own repertoire. Like I said at the start of the video, there are some tabs for all of these licks, as well as access to the backing track that I've been using. Down below in the description, hit the link for my guitar course, writenotesmusictuition.com. Sign up for a free account or a paid account if you want, but you only have to sign up for a free account in order to access the extra material. So go and do that. There's a community of other guitar players there as well, so there's plenty of places for you guys to hang out in the forums and in the chat rooms and all sorts of other cool stuff as well. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see me talk about any other artists in these style of videos, put their names down below as well. I'd love to hear who you guys would like me to break down the guitar styles of. And while you're down there leaving a comment, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button as well. I'm just going to jam out now over the track using some of the B.B. King ideas that we've talked about and just whatever else I feel like throwing in. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.